Welcome to another episode of Majestic Tourists. I'm Eric Swanson.
I'm Rebekah Swanson.
She's my best friend. So on these episodes, we try to show you the mistakes we made so you don't make them.
That's right. And you're going to have a wonderful time just like we did.
We'll be right back. We have a great episode ahead of you here.
All of our episodes are great.
So we get a chance to show you the ship.
And do a little tour. The ship is enormous. It's going to take us, I think, a couple episodes to really hit the whole thing.
The room's amazing.
Amazing.
And you know, at the end there, we went ahead and we were able to do a little toast. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. We really need that. And look forward. This whole series is 10 episodes.
That's right.
And this is only the second, so we have a lot more to come for you.
Ring the bell. See you soon, travelers.
We'll be with you in just a moment. All right, we're finally in the room. Finally. Now, what happens is that you have different folks have different times they're allowed to enter the ship. For example, ours is F13. And depending really on how many times you've cruised on the ship, depending on your level, like red and gold or platinum, gives you sometimes higher priority numbers. Now, they used to have this thing, I don't know what ships are doing it now, where you could to the fun faster or something like that. I think it was.
Yeah,
what it was
like you'd pay a price and you get on the ship earlier, but
they're not doing that right now. So what got complicated today, like we said earlier, is we could not bring up my test results, which was kind of a mess.
But he did get an A because he passed the test.
So I did pass the test, I guess you could say.
Yes.
So anyway, we're finally in the room, and we'll you can see the video as we in the background here. The room is really, really nice.
Thank you.
And it's out the back, out the aft, the stern, I guess you would say.
Stern.
And stern or aft. And so we're going to be, doing some different video on the ship here, trying to see some of the stuff that's going on here.
You see the balcony. Oh.
The balcony is really, really nice. We'll show that to you.
And we have a refrigerator, which is lovely.
Yes.
A safe is in the room, 2 closets, glass door on the shower. Plenty of storage, room for the suitcases under the bed, which we love that.
Get them out
we
of the
don't
way.
want the suitcases in our way.
Right.
We'll do a tour for you so you can see the ins and outs, and so you can plan for your own wonderful vacation. But a lot of this happened because Eric was so diligent at doing his research.
Well, you did too. I mean, it's just you really got to. Sometimes, so many times, you just say, "Well, I'm just gonna pick that one."
And
no.
you could.
Yeah,
you could absolutely do that. You probably would have a great time. However, there is so much to be said for looking ahead, getting some ideas of what you both want to do, and working together to find a really great experience.
Now, I think one of the things I always think about, depending on how flexible your budget is a lot of people, well, I don't know if I want to spend another $500 more. You know what? These are trips you don't do that often. You might only do one every few years, and maybe your first ever. We've run into people here. We've run into a gentleman that has done this seven times since the ship has sailed.
September.
So I mean, that's pretty amazing. And
he's just like stuck on this ship. He loves it.
Now, he's sailed many ships around. He says, but this one here, he says, this is the one.
Mardi Gras.
Right, that just takes the cake. He says of all the cruise lines, some of the cruise lines he was mentioning, you'll have like a little bit, maybe it might be a little more elegant or whatever, but he says in the basic overall look of everything, he says this is the one he really enjoys going on, which is kind of interesting. So, I mean, this is a big ship. I think it's a 184,000 ton ship. Now, if you're not familiar with what that means, if you go back into history, I believe the Titanic was only, 45,000 tons. So this is like many times up.
It's like a city on the ocean, and it holds about 6,500, 7,000 passengers. We believe there'll be fewer on this trip, which will be nice. Right out the back, and we'll show you in a little bit, we have the adult pool, which is something I was really interested in because I swim for my health. I don't usually do expensive spa things. However, this is a special trip for us. And I came in and there was a special present. waiting
Well,
for me
that's
for
good.
my beloved. So we'll share that with you in a few minutes.
I think one of the things to do, and you'll see that we're going to be doing this, is get to know who your steward is. I mean, they're the ones that can either make your trip more pleasurable.
Shout out to Chris! Whoop whoop!
So I think that's one of the things sometimes people always says, well, that's just the crew that's maintaining those. No, those are the people.
They have relationships with
Yeah.
you. They're your friend. They solve your problems. They answer your questions. And if you have anything that you need, they're cheerful, they're happy, they're available, and they're chosen, I think, for their pleasant personality. And he's already met with us, made sure he's made that contact. Just a great guy. Chris is a great guy.
Build a relationship with them, because I tell you what, it'll always make your experience much, much more enjoyable.
Right. And they'll give you
For sure.
shortcuts if there's anything that is an issue for you, if you have medication that you need to have managed by the staff or the medical staff, or if you have some special needs dietary, or if you have family members that have issues that need an extra hand or an extra care, or any advice that you might have. These are the people that are going to back you up and be the conduit from you to the cruise line.
So I think one of the things to think about when you're going ahead and trying to book a cruise, if it's, a lot of people say, well, you know what, you shouldn't be spending time in the room anyway. I'm sorry, that's part of the experience, in the room.
Love
just kind
this
of,
room.
Sometimes you want to take a step back and just,
There's a lot going on every day. It overwhelms the senses. And you need a place to withdraw for a few minutes,
Right.
and it could get very difficult outside with the weather. You don't know what the weather is going to be. We're going to a very humid place, even though it's spring. When you are listening to us right now, it may not be spring where you are, but it's very, very humid outside. That really saps your attention.
Right.
It saps your strength. So you need a place to regroup, to just be quiet, because sometimes it can be pretty noisy out there with a lot of people moving back and forth, and just, it's a place
and the other thing I
that's
like at
your
this,
own.
because we're from an area that's very, very dry.
Oh, yes.
So to me, this is like coming to the dry room, because a lot of that
Yes.
moisture has been sucked out of the air with the air conditioning. So you
Yeah.
get a chance maybe to let things evaporate for just a few moments in here. But around the room on the ship here, there's plenty of USB ports. There's
absolutely.
the bed is just great.
like
They
a
can either
cloud.
make it into a king or even to two full sizes. I believe that's what it was.
And where you see us sitting, this also makes into a bed. So if you have an extra person or a small child or something, this could be the room that you could choose. And I mentioned the refrigerator, the storage, safe in the room, many amenities, lots of plugs. We need lots of plugs these days. Sometimes the older ships really can't accommodate all of that. This ship was built for this.
Now we picked this room on purpose. Now we reserved way ahead of time, even though it got canceled on us twice. So, but we want to make sure there was a balcony. And the first balconies we had were actually in different
Private.
balconies. So this balcony, where we are now, sticks a little further. And one of the nice things about this room that I picked this room specifically on, because we wanted the bathroom to be on one side, the bed to be in the middle of the room, and the couch is near the door here. So this just, because otherwise the opposite of this would be the room next door here, where the bed would be here and the sofa would be over there. And I looked at it and I'm saying, you know what, if we're going to be right next to the door, we want the sofa here. We want a little bit more room, so it's not all crowded in when you come in and out of the door. And I think this is, if you're going to pick this ship here, or whichever ships you're picking, remember, a lot of the rooms are mirrored of each other. So they're the flip of each other. So there's a certain type of room that you're looking for, of being close to the door or being away from the door. I know maybe some people want to sleep right next to the door so they can leave it open all night long. Well, that's their choice.
Kind of humid.
Yeah, but that's
for our
still
trip.
that's their choice, And so you want to make sure when you look at the floor plans, a lot of the floor plans aren't very specific. So I went and did my research and made sure this one here had the bed in the middle of the room. Also on this balcony, we're all a little bit over so that we have the balconies all extended. We're also 2 floors below the deck that has the spas in it, so you don't get as much maybe vibration there. Some of these rooms in the ship here, I've been reading from other folks that have been sailing it, are too close to the area that there's a band on the far side over here. So what happens is, because of the corners, which is around the corner from us, those are the suites. And some of you have these suites that are almost right over where there's a band in a bar.
Also, there is a roller coaster on this ship, and it is a little noisy. So having us on the 14th floor, I think, has buffered some of that noise. We don't hear a thing.
So when we were on the 16th floor, you know, when you board on the first thing you want to do is try to get something to drink, get something to eat, you know, get yourself acclimated to the ship a little bit.
Can I just say that?
And so we were on the 16th deck, where the deck above that is where the roller coaster is, and we could hear it vibrating in the floor a little bit. So
not horribly bad, but if you're trying to sleep, it might be an issue for you.
So now in this room here, we have not heard the roller coaster because we're
Totally
extended
silent.
away from a little bit. So I think we chose wisely on this room. So
He says we.
So you want to make sure when you're looking at the ship, look at the ship plan, take some thought into it. Now, it's a lot of times, a lot of these cruise lines, if you let them pick for you, you can actually get a cheaper room. But then the risk in that is you don't get to pick the room that you want.
Right.
Okay. The other thing to think about when you're picking a room on a ship here is, depending on the size of the ship and depending on where it's sailing, an aft room or a room that's in the bow, the front of the ship, might be a little bit more pitchy, or not pitchy. I guess that's the pitch, and then this is the roll.
Pitch and yaw.
So what will happen on these ships is sometimes you'll have the front going up and down, but the back doesn't go up and down as much as the bow does. But you'll have the roll in the back. So it'll be interesting to see, because we're in the back of this,
And we're not
if
really
we
bothered
get
by
the
that.
roll or not.
So
if sailing
and
does
this is
bother
such a
you,
huge ship.
yeah, if sailing does
Really.
bother you, you really want to probably go into the lower decks, not all the way to the bottom, but some lower deck in the mid part of the
Mid-ship.
ship. And a lot of times those are the rooms that sometimes go the quickest, because people sometimes might feel a little sick from things.
Right. Especially if it's your first cruise, you don't want to spend it feeling uncomfortable. Bring your Dramamine, bring your wristbands, your C-bands, as they're called, and just do your research. Start off with a cruise in the middle of the ship. If it doesn't bother you, then, and it doesn't bother us. We're just not bothered by that kind of motion. We really like it.
So, we're back, but I wanted to talk to you about some of the things you can do. We talked about a little bit earlier. Each person's allowed to bring on board one 750 milliliter bottle of champagne. So this is to you. You can go ahead and order champagne glasses. You can order a cake. You can order all kinds of things. If you think this is what's going to make your trip special, do it. This is small stuff.
Works for me.
So anyway, as you can see behind us, we are sailing. We're going to catch you some different views of the ship as we go down the line here. Maybe some different events are going on.
Yes.
You know.
The first day at sea, the first evening, they try to make very special. And tomorrow is an entire day at sea, and they have all kinds of different things to do.
I think the second night formal night then, or not?
I believe it's tomorrow night. Yes.
So 2 nights they do a formal night where, you know, you're expected to wear a jacket, you know, a nice dress, a tie if you feel. It's just, you're not going there as casual.
Tonight is a casual night.
It just kind of helps make it special a little bit. And you know what? It's some of the things that's important when you're on these trips here. If you have designated seating, and I you know what? In the past, our designated seating's worked out for us. We've only done non-designated once.
Right.
And only because we were with a whole big family that was just a bunch of people that we had to be with. You know, I should say it that way. but you know, they were our family. It's,
We
you know,
wanted to be
there
with
with
them.
them.
Let's be clear.
So, but when you have set seating, these are the folks you're going to be with
For the whole time.
the entire trip.
Yeah.
And you know, first impressions only happen once.
That's true.
And one of the things is, I mean, I've already dropped you like a hot rock today, because I come across somebody I was just enjoying talking to.
He was very nice.
He's a very, very nice person. And you know what? I enjoyed
They had
the
a lot
time.
in common.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because you run across people like that. So we left each other, ran into each other again, started talking, left each other, ran into each other again, and kept talking. So that's the kind of neat things you'll find on these cruises, that a lot of it is developing some relationships and hoping to run into those people again.
Right. Absolutely. That's why we're here.
Very good. So we're on our way to dinner.
Cheers.
And for our first dinner seating tonight. So we'll see.
It's
We'll
exciting.
see. Get a chance to see who we meet at the table.
Absolutely.
We'll be back.
We'll see you soon, travelers.
Excellent.
It just shows how much fun that you can have when you do a little preparation before.
Did you like the champagne glasses?
I did. I still have them. They're a lovely souvenir.
I ordered those for the ship because
And
I wanted to
didn't
make
tell
this
me.
special for us.
Ooh, it was
So,
such a
but you know
surprise.
what? Looking at the ship here, being on it here, you know, we're getting a chance to talk to you afterwards in the studio here. But you know what? This is an amazing show. We even booked the next one.
We did.
So stay with us for the next episode here. We have a lot more to show you here. Please don't forget to subscribe so
Ring
we
the
can bring
bell.
more of this to you.
See you soon, travelers.
See you in the next episode.